Sweet, it's recording. All right, what are you going to do in this exercise 10.4? Look, if you're really behind, I'd probably tell you to have a look at tax just for your knowledge. That's 10.2, and then 10.4 jump onto that because that's pretty much what likely on the exam you got to practice. Yeah. What's 10.4? You get a whole bunch of financial products. Now that could be credit cards, insurance products, bank products, so different types of accounts. Your job is to figure out which one is going to be the best buy. How do you do that in an exam? So in an exam, they'll give you a whole bunch of different options. Then you have to decide which one is the correct one or best one, and you have to be able to justify why. Well, usually there's only one section of the question, so it might be worth 4 to 5 marks, and then you just move on to another question. But usually under financial part, there usually is comparison, and you got to reason why you think this is a good buy, and then sometimes you might have to reason what happens in the next 2 years. Is that still good? Why isn't it good? Those are the kind of things you got to analyze. So that's why 10.4 and 10.5 gels better for your exams. So here's an example. We are going to look at example 1. So everyone have a look at example 1 here or on your sheets. We've got 3 plans. You can either BYO phone, or you can buy an E-phone, or you can buy a E-phone X. Okay? Now, your job is to determine in each of those categories, if it's a BYO phone, you bring your own phone. That's what BYO means. Then you pay $29.95 per month. You will have unlimited calls and text, but no data. So that's obviously useful for people who don't need data. You just need calls. You could get onto this plan. You pay a lot more. It's $59 per month. You will get unlimited calls and get unlimited text and 3 gigs of data. Or, looks like this is the most expensive plan. Boys, Finita. Thank you. Leave his hair alone, please. You can pay $129 per month. Again, same thing. You get unlimited calls, unlimited text, but then you also get unlimited data. So we can see there's different purposes for each one. So the first question is, reading the statements, which one do you think is worthwhile, or which option is best for this person? So determine the most appropriate option for the following situations. Here we go. Tom likes to have the latest phone. He uses his phone for casual web browsing and keeping in contact with friends and family. Which option would you choose? Have a read. So you got your 3 there. Who do you think, or which option do you think Tom would choose? And you got to explain your choice. Have a think. I'm going to call out someone. Let's go with Pav. Out of 3 plan options, BYO, ePhone, 12 or ePhone X? Which one would be most suitable for Tom? He likes the latest phone and will use it for casual web browsing and keeping in contact with friends and family.
iPhone X11.
Yeah. Or
Because it's the newest one, and then he calls it for casual use, so you can use it outside casually as well.
good. This is the newest because this is 10. That's probably 12 there with the 2 dashes. So 10 with the 2 dashes means 12. So ePhone 12. And because he's only using casual web browsing, 3 gigs of data is fine. So that's true. I would probably think ePhone XII or ePhone 12 for Tom. What about Darcy? Darcy mainly uses his phone to play games and stream movies. He would like to update his phone. Which plan should he go with? Let's go with Billy. Billy, Darcy, what plan would you give Darcy? At a quick glance. Darcy mainly uses his phone to play games and stream movies. ePhone X, why? Beautiful. Pretty logical, isn't it? And then finally, Bianca. Let's go with Finita. Bianca has a phone gifted by her parents for Christmas and uses it to text her friends and call her dad when she needs picking up from netball training. Which out of 3 options do you think is most suitable and why? Why? Good. So you only use this to text and call, and what else? There's one more key detail. And call a friends, yes. So text and call, but they all can do text and call. Phone was gifted. Why does that matter?
But so the only thing is you need data to be able to message people outside.
SMS. SMS, yeah. So SMS is different to online texting. Yeah. So you use Messenger. Yeah, you guys are probably living in a digital age, so you don't realize. Back in my time, we didn't have the digital texting the way you guys do now. We used to rely on SMS, and each SMS was like 20 cents. So if I had a $10 credit, I'd have to make sure I know what I'm texting, because if you go over the text limit, then it counts as 2 texts. So then you have to type very carefully. So it was a big thing for me back then when we were able to get unlimited texting. I started texting my mate where it was like H, send, E, send, Y, send, because I'm like, hey man, I got unlimited text. It was a big thing for us. But for you guys now, yeah, you just need internet. Yeah, back then, there was 100 characters per text, and that's 20 cents per text message. And then you get unlimited calls only from like 8 p.m. to, I think, 1 a.m. You get free calls from then. Otherwise, it charges you as well. Yeah. All right, very good. Let's move on to example 2. Sorry? Back then, well, depends on your credit. So it would charge you like the flag fall. So as soon as you make a call, it's like 10 cents. And then I think it's like maybe 15 cents per minute. And so however long your credit lasts is up to. And then if you finish, you have to buy more credit to be able to call. Yeah. All right, example 2. Shh. Thanks. Example 2. Andrea needs a new phone and is considering the following options. So she can either buy phone outright or go into a plan. If she buys a phone outright, it's $1,099 and then utilizing a prepaid service for $40 per month. Versus if she buys a phone on a contract, it's $90.47 per month for 36 months. So the question is, which one is most cost effective? Now, obviously, if you know your linear equations and that, you can actually set this up and then visualize what it looks like. I'm going to show you a line graph just in case you are inclined to do it with a linear equation. So this is what it kind of looks like if we were to look at it visually. All right. So first one was it cost you $1,099. So notice what I went to. I just went to Desmos. If you got one of these or if you have a CAS calculator, you can type Y equals. It's $1,099. That's an upfront fee. So I typed in $1,099. And then it's utilizing $40 every month. So I plus 40 times X, which represents every month. See what I did there? This is the benefit of learning your algebra and linear equations. See, I modeled it. That's your starting cost. You pay for the phone, so $1,099 is out of your pocket. And then $40 for every month, so 40 times X. That should give me a pattern. So if you visualize this now, you can see that graph? That red graph gives me the cost as it grows over time. Versus the other one, Y equals 2, and they said it's $90.47 for every month. So you had 0 cost to start off with, plus 90.47 times X. So there's 2 graphs there. Now it's a bit hard to see, so I'm going to adjust the X-axis so you can see it better. Let's change that to 0. Let's talk about maybe up to 400, 500. And then let's change the Y-axis so you guys can see a lot better. Let's go to negative 1,000 to 4,000. There we go. All right, team. So what I want you to see there is you got 2 equations. Eyes and ears towards the board, thanks. Here we go. So if you had a CAS calculator from General Maths, you can actually model that. This is the person that doesn't pay an upfront fee for a phone, and it's $90.47 per month. That's what the times X means. Yeah? You get this graph, and that's the blue line. So we can see it starts off zero payments. And for every month up until 50 months, you can see the blue line eventually gets more expensive. Whereas the red one, yes, you had a starting point, but in the long run, it's going to be cheaper. So it depends on when will it break even. And this is the kind of questions that you might get at a foundation exam. You see, if I look at when they actually equal, on the graph you can actually see they equal at this point. I want you to interpret this. What does this mean? 21.77, 1970.01. Yes, I know this is a bit of general, but this is what I mean. So you guys don't need to know how to do that, but if you can visualize what I'm saying, then that's what the examiners want you to do. The examiners will give you a graph like this, and they'll say, that was the BYO plan you bought up front, $1,099 plus $40 per month. They'll give you one that says $90.47 per month. Which one's better, but you have to explain through this graph. So I'm now asking, what's that intersection mean? So what's, no, that's correct. So what's 21.77 then?
After 21 months.
Very good. This, remember, is the x-axis. That represents months. After 21.7 months, they both make 19. That's how much they paid in total. 1,970. So that means when is it best to go onto the red plan? It's only if you're going to be on it for more than 21.7 months. So let's say 22 months. So just before 2 years, the red plan would be better in the long term. Because in the short term, it's better for blue. And that's the kind of explanation in the foundation exam. That's what they want you to be able to say. So they'll give you a graph and you have to be able to interpret it. Now, in our case, you're going to be given a question like this, but let's say if you don't get a graph. Have, Finita, I do appreciate it if you're not speaking while I'm speaking. Okay, so if you're not attending or you're not listening and you're not taking notes, then I prefer that you just keep quiet. Yeah? So in the case before, I was able to show you a graph and then you can interpret from it. So that's good. So some exam questions will give you a graph, but if they don't give you a graph and you get something like this now. So straight off from the question, how do you then calculate which one's a better plan for you? The only way to compare it is you have to compare the same time frame or same pricing. Unfortunately, pricing is different. So because they're different, the only other way is you have to make sure timeline is the same. This one said it was $90.47 per month for 36 months. That was the hint. So when you see those kind of questions, you aim for 36 months to compare in both scenarios which one would work out better. So the first option, you pay $1,099 upfront plus $40 per month. But if you got 36 months, times 36 to figure out how much that will cost. Versus the second one, $90.47 times 36. Now, after 36 months, you can do a comparison between the two to figure out which one's cheaper. So here we go. Let's do it on our calculator. $1,099 plus 40 times 36 months. So $40 every month. I got 36 of them. I get $2,539. Write this down. $2,539 if I bought it outright for 36 months. Versus 36 months in the other plan, $90.47 for 36 months. So here we go. 90.47 times 36. You get 3,256.92. So by comparison now, for 36 months, in the same time frame, we're able to tell which one's cheaper. Okay, and that's what you'll be doing in 10.4. 10.4 is the ability, without a graph, without a lot of algebra, but just to interpret, how would you calculate which one is cheaper after 36 months? Okay? All right, team. So we've got the first one. You guys generally had intuition for example 1, and now example 2. You guys know how to calculate. Flip over the page. Flip over the page. Go to example 3. Now, I'm going to leave example 3 for you to have a try because now you should be able to figure out using percentages and then I'll write up the answers. But I do want you to fill out this bit here because this is more relevant for you guys in case you didn't know. Just on the bottom, fill this in. Health insurance facts. Remember, as part of your income tax, how much do you pay again for Medicare levy? 2%. So 2% of your taxable income goes to Medicare levy, which is to keep the Medicare stuff happening. Now, this is the thing that you might not know yet. Private hospital health insurance can help people avoid paying what we call Medicare levy surcharge. What is Medicare levy surcharge? This is you paying an extra 1.5% tax up to. It could be a bit less, but it's 1.5% tax extra on top of your normal Medicare levy. So instead of just 2%, you might actually be charged with 1.5% extra. Yeah. So you will, so they will take 3.54 if you don't do this bit. So this is something for you to know. So a rule called lifetime health cover loading, people who do not take out a private health insurance before you turn 30, you will have to pay an additional 2% on their insurance premium. What does that mean? Every year that you don't have a private insurance up until you're after the age of 30, so after you're 30, for every year that you don't, that you haven't actually got a private health insurance, they're going to charge you 2% for every year. So what's an example? Say you are 40, and that's when you started looking at private health care. This is what happens. So 30 to 40, how many years that you didn't have a private health insurance? How many years is that? From 34, 10. So that's 10 years. 10 years after 30 that you did not have a private health insurance. So what happens? Each month on your private health insurance, that when you get onto it, you will be paying normally $150 per month. But instead of that, they're going to charge you, and they're allowed to do this based on the law, they will charge you 2% times for every year that you didn't do it. So you said 10 years, 2% times 10 is 20%. They will charge you an extra premium of 20% to your health cover every time now. So instead of 150, you are now doing 150 times 1.2 because that's an extra 20%. And that works out to be you paying $180 per month instead. So how do you avoid this? Because once after you're 30, that's in effect. And most people probably don't know that. So when they finally go into health insurance, why do they do it after 30? It's because they get sick. Most people get sick between 30 and 40, and then 40 onwards gets pretty bad. Yeah. So because of that, when they finally get onto it, they don't realize why they're getting this extra charge. Because by law, after 30, every single year that you don't have a private health, it's 2%. That's fine. So by the time you're 30, you don't have that. Yeah, that's true. Because the thing is, when you're 20 to 29, you're less likely to have ailments. You're probably one of your peak health. Between 20 and 23 or 24, you're probably at your peak health. Most people are, anyways. So during at uni, I found that most of my mates got into gym and they got into fitness. So they're probably peak around the 24, 25. Then you start working. So 26, 27, most of you are working already. And most people work in a desk job in this current modern time. Sitting causes lots of changes to your body. So after 3-4 years, usually after 30, it starts declining. So that's why they know statistically after 30, if you don't have a private health insurance to cover for it, they're going to charge you extra. Okay, so thing to keep in mind for you guys, just like Jasper said, take out private health insurance when you're 29.
So because you didn't pay it just for when you were under 30, you have to pay for the rest of your life.
After 30, yeah. So if you get at 35, it's 5 years times 2%. So 10%. Just like that all the time. The reason why, because you're more at risk. So at 35, so for those 5 years that you didn't call for, and now you decide to do it, they're like, why do you decide now? Is it because you're sick? And so you're more at risk. So they're charging you always an extra 10%. You don't go back to normal what everyone else does. Okay? So worthwhile just to know that fact there. But otherwise, that's 10.4 there. I hope I gave you a bit of an idea of things to know. Medicare, tax. And that's as much as I felt from the textbook that could be relevant to you guys. Otherwise, there's a lot more. If you're interested, go through your textbook. There's a whole bunch of info. But I think that was probably useful there. Have a go at example 3. Otherwise, this is your time to work. I'm going to then call up each of you just to see where you're all up to and give you a bit of tips what to do.